with the wall. Yeah, that's not the kind of picture we were hoping to paint for the Motorsport, quite frankly, using our radio theater of the mind. But yeah, the Motorsport 6 in the Motor Speedway, where these cars get backwards, and you see the back car flying into the catch pit, bunching the back of the car, not the front. Although the front of them hopped up on the wall, stayed away. You know, that's obviously the very kind of cold away from that catch pit. And you see, as soon as he hits, the back of the car flies and gets up there. Boy, what a big hit. That guy car's okay. That car is not, though. Let me assure you, that's a throwaway.
This is it. One lap. Oh, there goes Ryan Hunter-Reay and Ryan Briscoe. And Briscoe flies. Briscoe flips and flies. On the grass, the two Ryans came together.
Yeah, that looked horrible.
And that's a very abrupt end to what was a terrific day for Ryan Briscoe. He gives both thumbs up.
Situation.
Which is
Briscoe
a good sign out of their respective cars.
That was wide.
And here it is.
Two cars here. They just start bouncing off of each other here. Hunter-Reay was going for a gap. It closed, and he came down into Brian, and the grass just caught the car and just flipped it violently.
Goodness me.
And very shortly thereafter, Ryan Briscoe gives the double thumbs up. Watch this, just a gap that closed again. It's Karam coming down, Hunter-Reay in the middle, and Ryan Briscoe, just the innocent bystander there down on the inside, and that nose just dove in like a dart into the grass.
Absolutely.
And flipped Briscoe. So again, similar to the Power and Sato incident, a lucky escape for both the Ryans, Hunter-Reay and Briscoe.
Oh, that was just intense, very violent crash. And it just goes to show you how safe these cars are.
This is Briscoe at the end of that violent flip.
As cars slowed down, others did not see it. We've got a huge pile of cars. 4 or 5 cars off. Some trying to take the grass avoiding safe car conditions. The car is actually pulled off just in front of me, and we've got the yellow flags flying. So we should be racing. Oh, a massive accident at the back of the circuit. As cars slowed down, others did not see it. We've got a huge pile of cars. 4 or 5 cars off. Some trying to take the grass.
Side of him, though, is Jan Kissiel. But it's going to be Dennis Marshall just with his nose in front, and a big coming together heading up the hill. You can see 4, 5 cars off and an engine fire as well, and that, I fear, may well 6 cars off. There's another in the gravel. It's going to be a red flag straight away. The race is stopped. It's a race suspension, and that is Loris Heseman's car that has suffered a huge amount of damage, and lots of cars involved in that. You can see that also off the road is Khan Ondor, number 9. Other drivers trying to get out. Levin Amveg, I think, is there as well, number 11. Who else have we lost? 33, Emil Lindholm. And there's one driver still in his car, look, up against the barrier nearest to us, who's going to be in need of attention. And let's see if we can piece it all together. It all goes wrong in the spray. Big impact. That, I fear, was Hofbauer. And then others just with nowhere to go piled into him. And look at this. Bang. Wow, that was absolutely an enormous impact, and there are more to come. Oh dear. I think it was Levin Amveg's white car that went ploughing into the melee and caused the secondary impact for Loris Heseman's, which in turn created that engine fire. But that is an enormous accident. And so the race stopped. The cars had only been running for effectively 2 corners. The good news is that despite that enormous T-bone, Loris Heseman's is okay and out of the car. Shows the strength of the cars, definitely, as others leap clear of the wreckage.
Trying to stay in front of the pack. They work their way through 3 and 4. Into the triumph they come. Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the bottom of the track. Jr. will win at Daytona. And the big one happens behind them.
Oh my God.
Of Austin Dillon into the catch fence. All the crews getting out to that car to assist these drivers. Thumbs going up from all the crew members, and the crowd roars. Look at the catch fence on the front straight.
Troisième place pour Nick De Vries, quatrième position. Oh attention, l'accrochage et l'accident terrible. Que s'est-il passé? Que s'est-il passé? Pourquoi Roberto Merhi s'est quasiment arrêté au moment de franchir la ligne d'arrivée? Il faut aller prendre des nouvelles très très vite de Nicolas Latifi qui a fait un tonneau par miracle. La monoplace s'est retrouvée sur ses roues et Nicolas Latifi qui a résisté jusqu'au bout à Tom Dillman. J'ai pas l'impression que l'Arceau qui est au-dessus de la tête de Nicolas Latifi est en train de sortir tout seul de sa monoplace. C'est le plus important parce que là les médecins qui tout de suite vont voir Tom Dillman, c'est plus Nicolas Latifi là qui a fait un incroyable looping et il est debout. C'est le principal. Bon, ces monoplaces sont au standard de la FIA et normalement sur ce genre de choses. Deuxième place avec un excellent départ. Ça s'est bousculé un petit peu dans le premier virage et c'est Dean Stoneman qui a fait un excellent envol de la deuxième ligne. Avec un accrochage derrière, il y a 3 voitures impliquées. Une voiture du team Ponce notamment. Et je pense que c'est... Alors il va falloir surveiller. Je pense que c'est Armand qui a été impliqué pour le team Ponce. Feu rouge d'indiquer là. Alors on va revoir ce départ. Ça a été très compliqué pour les deux pilotes Lotus. Dean Stoneman très bien parti avec Nick De Vries également qui va s'infiltrer à l'intérieur. Pas de problème pour Oliver Roland le leader. Là il va y avoir quelques déjà petites frictions mais on les voit pas bien. Et c'est ensuite alors à l'arrière du peloton. Oh oui, avec une monoplace qui part complètement. C'est Philo Armand qui part complètement en tête à queue sur le gazon et qui emmène avec lui, c'est dommage là, la voiture de sécurité, donc intervention de la voiture de sécurité.
Notamment celle de Dorian Boccolacci juste derrière Sergio Sette Camara, ça se passe au fond de l'image et puis devant, on a Michael Janssen. Ah là là, c'est pas possible. Le crash pour Félix Rosenqvist, énorme crash ici dans ce Grand Prix de Formule 3 avec Michael Janssen et Lance Stroll. Ah, c'est pas possible, Lance Stroll qui est venu heurter son équipier et Michael Janssen se sont vraiment pris les roues les unes dans les autres et c'est vraiment Lance Stroll qui est responsable de cet accident là. On n'a vraiment pas peur de le dire, ce n'est pas un incident de course comme les autres. Il ne faut pas se rabattre quand on est à 3 de front, surtout à ce virage ici au freinage après la grosse ligne droite du Kemmel. Énorme contact en tout cas avec le rail de sécurité pour Félix Rosenqvist. Dans ce virage ça ne pardonne pas. On se souvient donc, on en a parlé en première course en plus avec Lewis Hamilton et Kamui Kobayashi il y a déjà quelques années en Formule 1. Lewis Hamilton qui s'était rabattu trop tôt sur son adversaire. Il avait été victime d'un gros choc contre le rail. Pleine face, il était resté un petit moment KO. Fort heureusement pour Félix Rosenqvist, ça n'a pas été le cas. Et là, on s'explique entre Lance Stroll et Michael Janssen. Lance Stroll qui essaye de dire ah non, mais c'est pas possible, t'es venu à ma gauche. Mais Michael Janssen qui est en train de dire j'ai parlé avec Félix Rosenqvist, il est plutôt d'accord avec moi là. Bon, 2 voitures de perdu pour le MUC Motorsport.
The one that Pazamond was involved in yesterday, and that may well bring out the safety car with the car at 90 degrees to the direction of the traffic on a very narrow part of track and a part of track approach blindly. Oh, and another huge accident.
Now that is a big one.
And that is Meindert van Buren, who is pointing skyward and is going to recover some retrieval. And suddenly the drama from the first corner has been replaced. We've had 2 big incidents. And that, the safety car boards come out.
Yeah, it looks like he's. I always worry when cars have gone over others.
And it's Bruno Bonifacio who.
He's sitting down. I think he's. I don't know. The way he's clutching himself in the nether regions, it may just be the crutch belts. When you go in, you've got these belts that actually go around the inside of your groin area. So we'll see a replay of this.
Have a look. Oh my goodness me! And it was Van Buren on the back of Bonifacio, and that is a terrible accident.
I know exactly why he's holding his nether regions now. That would have been exactly what I said. That would have really hurt.
And the safety structures doing just what they should have done, as Van Buren up completely at 90 degrees.
Is very, very lucky there that that didn't submarine under. The tyre barrier there did absolutely everything it's designed to do to send the cars not skyward too much, but to absorb them and send them upwards rather than dig the hole underneath those tyres. So lucky boys there, and that was all started by trying to get down the inside on the run into Sandoval and being squeezed towards the barrier there. But yeah, a little bit of action here as we see a replay here coming into the swimming pool section.
This is Alfonso Kelis, and he gets it wrong coming in. And
that looked like a rookie mistake. Either that or he had a slow rear left puncture.
I'm going with the former. And Alfonso Kelis, it's a big step up for him this year to come in to Formula 1 3.5 litre racing.
The left rear looks good. He just lost it, overcorrected, and from that moment on, he's a passenger.
Well, for those of you with very long memories, the incident between Bonifacio and Van Buren, not dissimilar to the one between Piquet and Patrese in the 1985 Monaco Grand Prix. They collided in exactly the same part of the track, and the red flag.
Only one use. Oh, big shot, but that could be a safety car.
Now that looks like a mechanical failure under braking.
That was a big, big impact. The McLaren suddenly speared off the road and took the Bentley.
Yeah, absolutely. That was massive. Now, whether he locked a brake, the car just suddenly speared sharply.
And that is a very broken McLaren.
Yeah, and he's able to get out of the car under his own steam. That's a heavy impact. He will be winded and
54,
feeling the effect of it. I mean, that's a lot of G-force. But, yeah, no, he seems, in relative terms, fine.
Yeah.
The car, well, that's not going to do anything. That's a side by side coming down into the braking zone. The McLaren drifts over to the tail. Did he just overreact, or it's hard to tell. There was anything. I thought maybe there'd been something mechanical, but that just looks like more or less a driver instigated. And once the car started its career towards the barrier, there was very little anything could do about it. There was no contact with the back of the Bentley. The Bentley didn't do it.
Very lively indeed, but the most lively moment of all came there, unfortunately, for Maximilian Buch. A very small error on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. He ran a little wide, just kissed the gravel, spun the car around and spat it across the circuit. A huge impact with the barriers on the climb up to Druid. But the good news is Maxi Buch is out of the car and fine, but I'm afraid the car needs a lot of work.
Hand side.
And a huge accident for Alexander Bosak, and another one into the wall. Absolute chaos at the end of the third lap. So the safety car deployed, and 3 laps that Bosak will want to forget. Lined up on the grid in the wrong position, a poor start, dropped down the order, and then finding himself in the wall at a place you never want to be off. You see the wheel off. Matt Parry
to
caught
visit
up
the pits,
so let's find out what happened. Oh, that's really nasty stuff. It's a tyre issue going in. It's a puncture on the right front, and not a bigger hit as we saw in some parts yesterday, but a massive accident to rip wheels off the track. You see the tyre already deformed and taking a big crash, and that is what caught Parry. My word, you never want to see a tyre enter the racetrack again. And Bosak's loose wheel back on the racetrack into the path of Parry. Thankfully, it was only at wheel height and not head height, ripping the wheel off his car and spinning him into the barriers. And we just have had so much drama in the few racing laps that we've had so far in this GP3 weekend.
Júlio Campos o quinto, Thiago Camilo vem lento se arrastando.
E agora ele vai ter que volta toda da pista nesse ritmo para poder voltar. Olha aí, olha,
rapaz, olha o acidente. Olha o acidente, bateram por trás ali no Thiago, quando ele via muito lento na pista. Acidente forte, uma batida por trás na 10ª volta. Me parece. Você está vendo o carro do Thiago, foi uma pancada duríssima. Conversando, obviamente, vamos mais uma vez entender a dinâmica, olha só. O Rafa tira, ele atinge a lateral e o Fraga vem para encher o carro dele por trás, olha só. Dá para ver, olha só. É o seu Irineu, que é o pai do Felipe.
É a imagem mais impressionante que eu vi de um acidente na Stock Car até agora.
Eu também não consigo me lembrar, a gente já transmite, nós três aqui há tantos anos.
at him. There is the number 11 car of Fabian Schiller, which has made very good progress from 15th on the grid, and a huge crash there. Barrel rolling over. That's absolutely massive, and it's Lance Stroll. Now, we saw the start of that incident. Stroll got the move on Giovinazzi into the chicane. Looked like Giovinazzi was coming back at him on the way out of the corner, but that is a massive crash. And I hope that Lance is okay. These cars are super strong. They're see him moving in the cockpit, and no doubt a little bit shaken. But the marshal's coming to check on him. Let's have a replay. Look in the background there, wheel to wheel. He's got his nose in front of Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi's almost got a wheel on the grass, and then just loses grip, spears into the side of Stroll, and Stroll is just a passenger. And happily, the car landed the right way up the barriers, and the fencing, the catch fencing, doing its job. And that was huge, absolutely huge.
Vellingers, oh, mega klapper! Een zware crash in de Dunlop van Danny Kvyat en een rode vlag. Rode vlag. Danny Kvyat ligt eraf. Ik roep Dunlop, het is bij de hairpin. Uh-oh.
You okay, Danny? Yeah, I'm okay.
Foe, dat is fijn om te horen, zeg. Wat een tetsert van Daniel Kvyat. Richting de hairpin. Roept I'm okay, maar dit is een totaal losse auto. Het kruis betekent dat ze wachten, dat de dokter er even bij moet komen. Hij geeft wel zijn duimpje nu. Maar dit is logisch, er zit ook een impactmeter op. En deze is zwaar. En dit betekent eindelijk kwalificatie en pole position, denk ik, voor Nico Rosberg. Dat ook nog. Zo, de rammen van een klapper, zeg. Oei, 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 die stuk. Even opletten hoe die over de aarde waggelt. Hij heeft in ieder geval nog het besef dat hij het stuur terug moet zetten. Ze hebben hem $5.000 boete. Hij zat al niet lekker in zijn vel gewoon vandaag. Heeft hij ook nog die ene run gemaakt waardoor je de druk erop legt. Nou, laten we eens kijken. Over de curbs waarschijnlijk. Ja. En dan? Dit is raar. Oeh, eigen fout. En gerold. Hij rijdt gewoon links te ver naar buiten. Net als we dat Eriksen hebben zien. Kijk, hij rijdt zelf het gras op. Ja, dan is het de tankslapper 1, tankslapper 2. En een rol. 1 rijtje bandenstapels maar daar, zeg. Poe. Hij heeft geluk. Danny Kvyat heeft hier absoluut geluk.
What happened there, mate? Clear the grass on the entry.
Juist. Wat een held. Dat je dat gewoon zegt, hè. Ze vragen, wat is er gebeurd? Ja, hij klipt de grass.
Might have set the fastest lap of the race, but he's got Alex Lynn all over him. And Lynn is through, and there might be contact, and it is in a big way. Lynn and Sorokin making contact into the first chicane. And somehow Van Dorn escaped there. And Alex Lynn, who has had such a good rookie season in GP2, colliding with his fellow rookie Sergei Sorokin.
Worry about them anyway. Here we go, so it's the second 2 cars here. You've got Sorokin, that's Chicotto that Sorokin's passing, who's had a drive-through, not in the race really. Lynn on the outside, brakes later than Van Dorn, but he's got nowhere to go. Chucks it up the inside just to try and get out the way, but Sorokin turns in, and that's a crash all of Alex Lynn's making, I'm afraid.
Sorokin would have been so surprised. He's made the move, and then suddenly, bang, into the side of him comes the Dams car. So lucky not to flip over from the impact. Sergei Sorokin at a vast rate of knots. 7/10 to be for exact. Here we have Gasly, and we're on board with Daniel de Jong. Look how close he is. There's going to be contact. Oh, my word. A huge impact into the tyre barrier there. We panned away.
That was going to be a safety car, I'm certain of that. That was a huge shunt. You do not want to be having that right there. Not a lot of runoff, and they're going so quickly down the end of that straight. That's coming into Blanchimont near the end of the lap.
Where you could see how close they were. They were racing wheel to wheel. The safety car deployed the speed. You know that this is one of the fastest points of the racetrack. And that is absolutely monstrous. A horrible, violent impact. And just no control at all. That's what the tyre barrier is there to do. But completely submerged within it. And here we see the contact. Don't really want to get into whose fault that may or may not be.
I'll tell you what, that is the biggest accident I've ever seen in GP2. It's absolutely huge.
Wow, c'est pas possible! Un tonneau! Mais c'est pas possible ces pilotes là, regardez le tonneau de la part de Gustavo Menezes. Il s'est envolé dans la ligne droite. Encore un safety car, mais oh là là, c'est pas possible là, vraiment. Ça refait comme à Monza, mais c'est pas pour autant qu'il ne faut plus faire de course de Formule 3 là. Ah là là, le décollage de la part de Gustavo Menezes qui est venu bloquer Gustavo Menezes dans l'herbe. Ce ne sont pas des manœuvres qui se font, messieurs. Il faut vraiment faire un briefing qui soit plus strict. Ah là là, avec donc des images qu'on n'aime pas forcément voir. Hein. Ça, on vous le dit. Est-ce qu'il va bien? Parce que là, l'arceau de sécurité a été cassé. Heureusement, Gustavo Menezes va bien. Regardez l'état de sa voiture. Il est venu décoller. Là, je pense qu'il a les anneaux, hein, le français qui est venu serrer, mais quand on serre trop, eh bien, ça ne peut plus passer. Oh là là, ça a été très très juste. S'il était passé de l'autre côté du rail, Gustavo Menezes, eh bien, ça aurait pu mal se terminer. Et puis là, il retombe sur le vibreur. C'est Charles Leclerc également qui s'en sort bien en voyant la voiture de Gustavo Menezes traverser la piste.